We go racing. Luke Whitehead lights it up. Tariq Adam is going to take the green flag and send them all down to Hill Corner. But here we go. This is the action. We will side by side. A little bit of a nudge, a little bit of a clip of his teammate there. This is through the dipper, and that, I think, is one of the Genesis cars going straight into the wall. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Genesis Esports YouTube channel for the second series of the Genisus Risk Kaizen Championship. We've already arrived at round 2 of what promises to be an enthralling and an exciting championship, with round 1 delivering more than we possibly could have asked for in the way of thrills, spills, action and drama at Imola. In the end, it was a dominant performance by that man yet again, George Boothby, who won with a 10-second gap over the field, proving time and time again that he is simply a different class. This week sees us staying in Italy as we head to Misano World Circuit, Marco Simoncelli, to tackle one of my personal favourite tracks, the 2.6 mile Grand Prix circuit, to find out who will come out on top. My name is David Christie, ladies and gentlemen, and joining me tonight on commentary duty, as always, is none other than the man himself, Mr. Tapelo Merioli. Tapelo, welcome back. Round 2, Misano. It was dramatic at Imola. I get the feeling that it's going to be a really, really aggressive affair tonight.
Yeah, look, we had a very good race last week and we saw a lot of penalties, but you're right. We have a fast circuit this week. You know, it's very tricky to get right at the best of times, but when you have so many cars around you, it becomes even more difficult. Fast corners, sweepers, hairpins, braking points. I think we're going to see a lot of action again tonight.
We certainly are. So, 12-week calendar that we have got for you. Round 1, as we said last week, at Imola. You can see there we've got the likes of Nürburgring, Paul Ricard, Watkins Glen, Kyalami, Kota. And then we start getting into the business end of the season. Bathurst, Spa, Brands Hatch, Valencia and Silverstone, taking us all the way up to the end of March. And I think that we should have a good idea around about February 7th. Around about the sort of halfway point is where we should get an idea of what the championship is looking like. But here it is how it stands after one round. George Boothby, unsurprisingly, up on top there, 103 points. Grantas Caracas in second place. Noah Ader in third position. Adam Spansky in fourth. Mikhail Statsenko, Marco Bischoff, Cody Sherritt, Tariq Adam down there in seventh and eighth. Valentin Barrier and Jordan Watson in P10 as well. So again, a perfect start here, Tapelo, for George Boothby, and pretty much for everyone else. The number one priority for them is stopping him getting to that top spot again, surely.
I'll say it once again. I have a tip for the guys. There is a way to stop George, but I don't think the stewards will love my idea of how to stop him.
Come on, I want to hear it.
It's called a bit of a love tap into turn 1. They can kind of figure out what I'm saying. But look, he's driving with so much confidence that it is so difficult to drive or to try and, you know, break someone's mojo when they're driving that brilliantly. We've seen how he starts already. Now when qualifying is already sitting comfortably in P2, very close to P1. So yeah, I think that punt might be needed if someone wants to usurp him into the lead of the championship, because he is looking very much the man on form so far.
Of course, we'd never ever condone any sort of behaviour like that, but my God, would it be hilarious to see it. Maybe not so much for George Boothby, and let's face it, it's a driver that I would never actually want to do that to, because he knows how to give as good as he gets, and that is exactly what is in store for us through the course of the season. But anyway, back to tonight here at Misano. As we said, a fantastic circuit here in the heart of Italy, 2.6 miles, and some of the I love this circuit purely because it's a nice, fast, flowing circuit. It's very easy to pick up and to understand and to learn, but it's very, very difficult to master here. Slipstream is going to be absolutely crucial here, and when you're going full chat for so long round the circuit here, I don't know if George is going to be able to break away in the way that he does seemingly every other opportunity. We'll have to kind of wait and see. But one other thing that's interesting me here, Tapello, is the fact that in practice, now we would watch it, we saw bits of practice, we saw the times coming in towards the end. 1:33.1, I think it was the fastest time coming in. Talk about sandbagging, because everyone, or almost everyone up to P11, has immediately went into the 1:32s here.
Yeah, listen, David, I think there's sandbagging, and then there's just throwing the beach at everyone else, because that's definitely what they were doing. And I think that's what's shocking me with these guys is, and we've spoken about this since last season already, just how well and just how on command they can pull off a fast lap. And that's one of the most difficult things. Look, I've raced on sims before, you know, not to the level of these guys, but one thing I always struggled with was qualifying. I could maintain a race pace, but I think that perfect lap for quali, just to string every sector correct, every corner, I struggled. So the fact that these guys can really do it on command. Look, we've got 2.5 minutes left of qualifying. You know there's bound to be an amazing lap coming from someone that's going to shake up the top 5. So I'm going to see that, and it's going to shock me a bit. But let's prep. Here's an onboard with Luke Whitehead. Let's see how well I can do it this week for a new circuit. Stick to the left as you head into turn 1. Maximize track limits. You can cut the corners here fairly well. Turn 1, turn 2. Bit of a tricky chicane, but it's all good. Turn 3. I was watching onboards of this as you want to stay left again as you head into turn 4. Bit of a tricky entrance because it will push you out wide as you exit turn 5, and then as you head into turn 6, very crucial to get the exit correct there because it is setting up for a long straight. Turn 7 is more of like an imaginary corner at this point because you take it flat out. Break into turn 8. Again, maximize the curbs on the inside, and as you exit you can run wide. Heading into turn 9, you want to set it up by going as a bit of a far left, and then you take the turn, take turn 10. Very, very tricky because the exit, again, you want to get on power as soon as possible, down for a long straight. So it is all about maximizing your exit speed and momentum here. Turn 11, you think about it, nothing really too stressed about. You can take it flat, maximize curves on the inside. Turn 12, 13, and this is where I've seen people struggle on the onboards. Breaking into turn 14, the car can get very light on the rear as the pressure goes to the front of the car, but these guys are very good at managing the balance of the car. Turn 15, running a bit wide there, so it is showing that it's a bit tricky. Turn 16 is deceptively quick for a driver, it always looks, and there you see trying to maximize on the speed and running a bit wide, so that will destroy the lap time for Luke Whitehead. He's still in first position, but you do not want that kind of exit going into the exiting the last corner, because that will mess up your next lap, and you need as much speed and momentum as possible, David.
Yeah, that exit was wild because that was a 1:32.8. That still would have been good enough for Luke Whitehead to get up into P8, but yeah, he'll be trying to ratchet down that time nonetheless. As qualifying coming to a close here for round 2 of the Genisus Risk Kaizen Championship. We're watching Marco Bischoff coming across the line. Can he make an improvement? He does! 1:32.4, but we're going to save the champagne because I've got a feeling there might be somebody in the form of George Boothby. No, George Boothby's not going to beat him to that one. That's very, very interesting indeed. Right, still a couple of cars that can possibly do this. No Ada very wide out of Curva Misano. That's invalidated his lap. So at the moment then, it looks like that is an incredible lap, right the last gasp there from Marco Bischoff. What can Grantas Caracas do across the line? It's an improvement by 5/100ths of a second, but it's not enough to take pole position, enough to move up on one position. Here comes young Cody Sherritt then for Genesis Esports in the 38 Ferrari. Come down to Curva Misano then. He's going to be one of the last cars coming across the line here. What can Cody Sherritt do? It's an improvement, but again, only by 1/10 of a second. Well, there we go. Now, I've got just, you know, when you're looking at things, Tapello, and for the briefest of seconds you think you see something change. I just had the sneakiest feeling that I saw Luke Whitehead's name going back up to the top of the time screen, but that's impossible because he's obviously completed his qualifying. So obviously a trick of the eye. Right, a couple of things that we need to tell you about tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We didn't even say hello to the viewers at home, so hello to you all out there. One of the things that we did last week and that we're going to get you into just now is we have got a giveaway that we are offering throughout the course of the evening. We have got a giveaway for some fantastic prizes. So please pop in CDA into chat and we will tell you more details about what is going to be going on through the course of the evening, because if you type in CDA in chat, so CDA, and put it in chat, you just need to do it once, you don't need to spam it. 2 chatters will win a 10% discount coupon off a 3-month Coach Dave Academy Delta subscription. So that is a fantastic prize, definitely worth winning. Coach Dave Academy's new Delta service has just come out, and get yourself involved with that one. Right. Now we've done the plug-in, now we've paid the bills, let's head down to the grid. Marco Bischoff then, confirmation on pole position. Luke Whitehead in second. Then on row 2, Tommy Rozier in third position alongside Noah Ader. George Boothby down in P5. That's going to be very, very interesting alongside Grantas Caracas. Then it's Adam Spansky in 7th position with Luke Addison in 8th position. Samir Foch in 9th alongside Tariq Adam. You then got Philippe Minard in 11th position. Valentin Barry in 12th. Cody Sherritt in 13th with Alexander in 15th. You've got V-Shark in 15th, sorry. You've then got Jordan Watson in P16. Simone Seminara in 17th. Shada in 18th. Abe Santima in 19th. Lettinen in 20th position. On row 11, it's Sasha Vassner alongside Hache. And then it is Lovrink in 23rd position. And we'll read the rest of the cars out as we head a little bit further down the grid. But Tapello, with round 2 about to get going, a very different grid here, and a chance. Basically, they've done everything they needed to right now to keep George Boothby from romping away with this. But now the hard work begins.
Yeah, look, it's going to be a confidence boost for the guys around him. You know, the guys that have kind of pipped him to the starting grid. You know, they've come behind, so he does look vulnerable, they can say that. But as we've seen, George Boothby is also very good at putting pressure on other drivers. We saw this a lot last season because he wasn't winning that many races, but it is going to be interesting how he works his way so far. It will be interesting. That's going to be a fantastic start. He just needs to survive turn 1.
Let's go through the rest of the grid then as we head down. So in 23rd is Lovrink with Christian Fenter in 24th. You've got Manson in 25th with Krzysztof Moskowski in 26th. Christian Deploy in 27th. Ronald Buursma in 28th. What a performance from Buursma. That's a hell of an improvement to get up into P28 already. Then you've got Gottschalk in 29th. You've got Clifford in 30th. Oskar in 31st. Hill in 32nd, Syme in 33rd, Smith Adams in 34th, and then it is Mashigo in 35th, Detroit in 36th, Stein in 37th, and Bayer in 38th. Great to see Stein back with us this week, and again making more improvements as well every single week. So that is the grid so far. As we said, type CDA in chat, get yourself involved in with the giveaway. We'll pop everyone's name that enters into that giveaway, and we'll do the draw live on stream later on tonight. But Marco Bischoff then leading the field rounds here at Misano for a 60-minute race. Remember, championship is a mix of 60-minute and 90-minute races. That means that next week's race is going to be our first 90-minute, an hour-and-a-half race of the season. But with 60-minute races and a set pit window period, a allotted period in which they have to do their pit stops, I don't think that strategy is going to be as much of an issue tonight. It is a fairly high grain circuit in terms of the tyre wear, in terms of the pushing that the cars are able to do and that you want them to do. But let's talk about that top 10 then, because there's not only George Boothby. I mean, obviously Boothby had a fantastic performance last time out in Imola here, but with the likes of Noah Ader up there in P4, also Tariq Adam down in 10th position. But for me, my eyes are on Luke Whitehead in that second position here, Tapello.
Yeah, most definitely. I think Luke Whitehead will kind of want to find the form that he had last season, because he, for large parts of season 1, he looked very dominant, very confident, very assured in how he was driving. So he has changed cars this season. That's fine. He's trying something new, but I think this is where he wants to push on and kind of find the form that made him such a strong contender for the eventual championship P1 position. So this is a confidence boost for him. He's qualified P2, kind of the top 3 from last week, so already that's a plus in his book. So he just needs to survive maybe the first 5-10 minutes just to see how he can find his rhythm, because look, this is a very quick circuit and it really is about finding your rhythm and placing your car where you want it to be. So that's what the guys want to do. That's what I would want to do. So I just would love to see a clean turn 1, because it is very tricky. It is a fairly fast entrance into turn 1, so I would love to see clean exits, clean start for the race.
That is exactly what I think all of the drivers are going to be looking forward to here at Misano. But it's round 2 of the Genisus Risk Kaizen Championship roars into action. We are ready to get everything underway, and we won't miss a single moment of the action. Marco Bischoff and Luke Whitehead are going to lead the 38 cars off into life into turn 1 then. And what a start from Luke Whitehead, straight around the outside, and takes the lead of the race there. You've got number 29 there of Tommy Rozier just being beaten to the punch there into 3rd position. But it is a gaggle of cars all trying desperately to fight for position coming through here. There's Noel Hatchey down in 20th position at the moment in that number 4 car. Again, all of the drivers behaving themselves very, very well. We'll see how long that lasts there. You can see Aaron Spansky down into P7. There is Luke Harrison trying to catch his way back up into this melee just now. He's lost out a little bit of time down there. Cody Sherritt has dropped down to P14 as well. So some big winners, some big losers from this early start part of the opening lap here at Misano. Again, the concertina effect is massive at this circuit here, because when you're gaggled up and you're pushed up together here, as soon as one car hits the brakes in front of you, it's instinctive that you have to go and put on the brakes as well here. Here comes Aaron Spansky onto the back then of Grantis Caracas. We've already got a 5-car train leading at the front. Whitehead from Bischoff, from Ader, from Rozier, and Boothby as well. We've got a yellow flag as cars off in the background. That's Philippe Minard that's off in the background there. The 210 is also involved in that one. We've got the 555 off a little bit further back, but well, I guess the glory was short-lived there. Tapello, Marco Bischoff demoted to 2nd almost immediately, and that is Luke Whitehead starting to push as hard as he can. However, George Boothby not able to kind of keep with that front 4 group.
Yeah, look, for sure. I'll tell you which driver has the biggest smile on their face right now, and that is Luke Whitehead. A brilliant start, kind of what we spoke about. You know, that's how you want to set the tone of your race. Kind of survived turn 1, but he didn't survive. He thrived at turn 1. So that was brilliant to see. Fairly clean start. A bit of something for the stewards to note there. We saw the yellow flag. I think we have a replay coming up, so stewards, watch this along with us, because you guys might be making a very tough decision. But as we see there, it looked clean, but as that concertina effect you spoke about, as they all break, and there's the bit of contact coming there towards the end, and it's spinning around. Oh, and that tends to happen at the start of a race. You have so many cars bunched up together, you will eventually see people being swiped if they lose their car. So that's the kind of thing that happens with a big grid, but the stewards will be looking, and we might see some penalties. I hope not something heavy, but they might be in a bad mood tonight.
I feel gutted for that Ferrari. That was a hell of a dive up the inside there. Got it stopped in time as well, and then just got collected on the exit of the corner. On board with RTO Racing Team's Jordan Watson. This is coming through the first half of the circuit here, coming out through turn 5 on the run down then. Sorry, we're at the other side of the track, of course. We're at Curva Misano, so we're on start-finish straight there. I thought they were down at Curva del Rio, but again, obviously having a bit of a senior moment here, forgive me. But as he's chasing down Valentin Barrier, clips that sausage curb on the inside of the corner there, and that actually loses him quite a bit of time. Now, he's going to have to get a move on here, because that is a car that I do not want to see behind me. Cody Sherritt, that is a fast young man in that Ferrari, and he is going to be baying and chomping at the bit to try and get past Jordan Watson. However, Valentin Barrier just up in front. I'd be quite keen to try and get past that car as well. Now the tyres look to be coming in for George Boothby. Maybe a little bit of a measured start for the Ferrari driver in that 800 car. Your race 1 winner knows exactly what he's doing here, and I do wonder, Capello, maybe if he's just pacing himself.
Yeah, for sure. That might be a very good tactic to kind of employ. You know, you don't want to be too slow to lose pace with the front runners, but you also don't want to be push out the box too quickly and kill your tires and suffer for the rest of the race. So yes, George Boothby is finally looking like comfortable. He's got the pace right now. As we see an overtake, Daniel Gottschalk trying something here. Will he take it down the inside? No, not close enough, but he is putting a lot of pressure on Smith Adams. So this is something to watch as this race develops, because as we've seen so far, driving like this and putting pressure on the driver in front just forces them into small errors that compound over a lap, and they start to lose lap time, and they tend to overdrive to try and make up for losing that lap time, and that's when the big mistakes come through as they head around Misano corner, the final corner. As they head into the start finish straight, it's all about getting the perfect exit, because you have a straight. We can see here Gottschalk looking to the inside, trying to open it up, but he's still not close enough to make a move into turn 1. Actually in a very good position to try something, heading out of turn 2 into turn 3. Can he do something into turn 4? No, not close enough. As we see a move in the back, commentating on one and getting the other. It's Gottschalk with the move there, making it stick. Fantastically well done. Measured driving again from these drivers, David.
It really is, and I was watching Bayer there. I think Bayer tried to honestly go around the outside of Gottschalk there, and it failed miserably and cost quite a lot of time. Back to lead off the race though, and here is Marco Bischoff onto the tail end of Luke Whitehead. So Luke Whitehead obviously going to be one of those early title contenders wanting to throw his hat into the ring, but the two of them actually start to gain a little bit over Noah Ader, and just as I say that gap almost immediately closes up with the likes of Tommy Rozier and George Boothby, but they have totally gapped Grantas Caracas now by 1.5 seconds. And the problem with this circuit here is the fact that if you're outside the top 15, then you have had your chances torpedoed, because you're so far back. You're at least sort of like 8 to 10 seconds off of the lead pack already, just by being outside of the top 15. It's a wild state of affairs that less than sort of 7 minutes into a race, you've already done irreparable damage for the rest of that 50 minutes. However, given that there's still pit stops to come, there's still a lot of racing to do here, but yeah, in the top 10 is certainly where I'd want to be in this opening stage of the race here, Tapello.
Yeah, spot on. And you know, there's a lot of circuits where you're watching a race, and if a driver kind of falls off the pace, it is somewhat easier to get themselves towards the back of the leading group. But Misano is a circuit that doesn't grant itself to that kind of recovery drive. So if you kind of lose touch with the group in front of you, it becomes infinitely so much more difficult to kind of get back and get into the challenge again. So what we're seeing here, kind of cars sticking together, that becomes the fastest way to maintain pace and be in the groove as we get race control. An incident between cars 26 and 555 on lap 1, 10-second time penalty to car 26 for causing a collision, and that's what we saw in the replay, David. Just a lot of cars going into a tight corner, a bit of contact in the rear, as we've got Christian Duploy spun around on circuit, and I think he is in the pits. Is he calling time on his race? That is dare I say, a disappointing effort from Christian Duploy. Second race of the season, and already he's run into some trouble.
That's absolutely devastating. Just to bring you up to speed on that race control message, then, that was Daniel Gottschalk that got the 10-second penalty. You can see there on the time tower on the left-hand side there for contacts on that 555 of Hill right now. But Tim Bayer coming under real pressure here from Philippe Minard going into that first corner here as they come round through the tight, twisty first couple of corners here. It's a real enjoyable opening stint to this race here, but as you said, devastating for Christian Duploy, having to retire from the race. It looked like that car stuck on the right hand side of the circuit there and not able to make anything of it, as Simon Dutoit having a bit of an issue there, the 23 and 22 cars bringing out the yellow flags, and I get the feeling that might have been contact as we go back to your race leaders with just under 10 minutes gone in this second round of the championship. It's still Whitehead from Marco Bischoff, Noah Ader in third, Tommy Rozier in fourth position, George Boothby in fifth, Grantas Caracas in sixth position with Adam Spansky and Samir Fortune seventh in the eighth position. It's Tariq Adam in ninth, Luke Addison down in 10th position. So that's the top 10. That can and very likely will change over the course of the next 50 minutes. However, lots of little pockets now developing. It looks like it's a six-car fight for the lead, as we have got, in fact, a five-car fight for the lead, because Caracas is actually fighting with Spansky. Let's go and check a replay then of some more action that happened earlier on. This is what happened to Christian Duploy. Comes out of the corner, and you can see he's very, very slow, gets hit from behind, and well, I'll be honest with you, that is, yeah, I'd be just done with it. He's going to realise that car's got serious damage, and he's just like, nah, I'm not wanting anything to do with this. Right, Spansky is losing time to Grantas Caracas just up in front. He was fighting for that sixth position, but is coming up to getting caught by Samir Fortune now, as we have got George Boothby, who, in all intents and purposes, for as dominating as he was in race one here, I was expecting to see that car moving up and cutting some shapes, but that's not happened yet. Incident between cars 72 and 705. That is a 10-second time penalty for the number 72 car. So that is Valentin Barrier in 11th position there. That is an absolute stunner there to see that happen. And the 705 is obviously out there as Sasha Vasser coming into real trouble there. And is that Christian Fenter or is that Abe Santima that's fighting off there? So Tapello, while it's all very orderly at the front here, it's getting a little bit physical throughout the field.
Yeah, definitely. I think what you're seeing is kind of drivers trying to assert themselves and find their position on this track, because we've spoken about it. You don't want to lose touch with the guys in front. So if you feel that the guy in front of you is a bit off the pace, you want to get past them as fast as possible. As we see here, Marco Bischoff putting a lot of pressure on Luke Whitehead. So we've kind of seen Luke Whitehead come back towards the field. He opened that bit of a gap in the beginning, but the rest of the field has started to catch up to him as they found their pace and their rhythm. So again, we've got this 5-car battle for P1. It's looking very interesting. It's looking close. So it seems like everyone is, dare I say, curse of the commentator, evenly matched so far, as we have another notification from race control. Incident between car 25 and 705, 10-second time penalty to car 705 for causing a collision, not holding the brakes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very crucial penalty. What tends to happen is, even if you get yourself in an incident, you still have the responsibility to either rejoin the track safely, or in this case, hold the brakes so you don't have your car out of control and moving around and crashing into other drivers. So there is a responsibility, even if you're someone involved in a collision, to make it as safe as possible. Interesting penalty. Haven't seen one like that in a long time.
I'd love to say that, but unfortunately I see them quite often with some of the behaviour that goes on. But Philippe Minard, he's going to feel a little bit aggrieved by that one, given that he was tagged by another driver and he's going to feel like that was a little bit of a hardship. Right, inset between car 78 and 213. It's a 10-second time penalty to car 78 for causing a collision. The 78, of course, in question is going to be Ozakir, who is down outside the top 23 just now. I think he's about P25 right now, and the 213 is going to be Christian Deploy. So that is the guilty party for Baller Squad Racing, unceremoniously yeeting Christian Deploy into the final corner there, and that is it done as Philippe Minard comes into the pit lane. And given that that was going to be a 10-second time penalty, and that's outside the pit window, I have a feeling that that is Philippe Minard retiring from the race here.
Yeah, I think he might be calling it early as well. And it's one of those things. It is so disheartening to get a penalty, to get some contact, because it just ruins your mojo. I think we often kind of lose it in translation, just how important being in the right headspace is for something like sim racing. So if you get an incident that you haven't planned for, you know, a penalty, contact, it just kills your whole race. As we see a move from Adam Spansky, is he defending fairly well? He's putting a lot of pressure on Grantis Caracas. So we're seeing the differences in pace, and we'll see what we're talking about from Adam Spansky here, trying to get the move done as fast as possible because they are losing touch with the front five. So he might be pressed to get the move done, and the other guys might be hoping he gets the move done so he can tow them along towards the front. So again, Grantis Caracas not making it easy because he's defending fairly well, putting his car where it needs to be. And on a fast circuit like this, you have to be so precise in how you try and get that overtake, David, because positioning and accuracy is important at a track like this.
It certainly is. So is patience, and that is exactly what is being shown in bucket loads by our top three right now. Luke Whitehead, Marco Bischoff and Noah Azer. They know the script right now. They're not hassling each other. They're not going for a move that doesn't exist here. The three of them know that they are just working together, try and break away from Tommy Rozier and from George Boothby behind them, at least until that pit stop window opens, at which point they'll be able to kind of fight amongst themselves and pick out the pieces of whatever they fancy just now. But I've got to be honest, I'm really, really impressed with Marco Bischoff just now after that initial absolute move from Luke Whitehead to go round the outside into turn one. The fact that Bischoff held his head, held the pace, held the nerve, and was able to keep pace with Luke Whitehead and also keep Noah Ader at bay. Now, Noah Ader has kind of flown a little bit under the radar through Season 1. Season 2, we saw him with that fantastic performance at Imola, and I get the feeling that he could be earning himself the nickname of Mr. Consistent, as we've got Sakari Lehtinen for the number 30 car getting an incident for causing a collision with the number 12. So that is Simone Seminara that had the collision, and also seeing that it's a drive-through already for Bayer. Now that is, if that is been an automatically assigned penalty for track limits, that's wild to get one so early in the race.
Yeah, you see, one of those things we were talking about, and sort of uncalled incident that kills your mojo completely. So that will be a disastrous drive-through penalty, because that means for the rest of the 43 minutes we still have to go, they've reached the limit of track limit violations, and that makes it insanely more difficult to drive. As we saw when we did the onboard earlier, ladies and gentlemen, to be fast around this track, you do want to kind of abuse track limits where you can, but you also want to be clean and on the safe side of the stewards. As we see here, Adam Spansky once again putting pressure on Grantis Caracas. We will see this battle going on for a few laps, ladies and gentlemen, because Grantis Caracas, what he's doing very well is he's getting his exits really, really well. A lot of the advantage in this circuit is getting your exit correct, so you do have the pace to defend ultimately at the end of the straight, and that is what he's doing very well. And as you can see, as these two are battling, it's bringing Foch into the battle because they're slowing each other down, and Foch has the best seat in the house to just try and pick a gap that will inevitably open as these guys fight for position.
And that is exactly what we are here to see, ladies and gentlemen. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome, good evening, and thanks for joining us here on the Genisus Esports channel on YouTube. This is the Genisus Risk Kaizen Championship Season 2, and oh boy, round 2 is a banger here at Misano. 15 minutes in, and we have got it all going on. The top 5 have kind of broken away by themselves. They are just going for it right now. Luke Whitehead, you've got Marco Bischoff, you've got Noah Ader in there, Tommy Rozier, and then you've got George Boothby, your round 1 winner in there. Behind them, you've got a 4-car group. That is the likes of Caracas. You've got Samir Foch in there. You've also got Tariq Adams in there as well. So fantastic fighting going on throughout the field here. But as we said, top 5, they're not fighting anything right now. They are just working together and getting themselves all through as fast as they possibly can, as we have done 1/3 of the race already. We're seeing Bayer coming back out of the pit lane there in that 44 car, as Dennis Veitshot goes up the inside of the 999 of Clifford. And well, what's the correct term for that then, Tapello? Is that a love tap, or is that just straight up GBH?
I don't think I have my legal cap on tonight, so I'll stick with love tap for that kind of incident. But definitely the stewards will have a different interpretation, because yeah, it seems like the stewards are having a busy night once again. Round 2 of the season, and these stewards have given out, dare I say, so many penalties. I think they're busier than us, David.
That wouldn't be difficult, Tapello. Come on now, that wouldn't be difficult for them at all. They definitely earn their money up in the race control. That bit of contact though reminded me of ice hockey. You know, that whole sort of thing of like, it's completely acceptable, completely expected, and it's just like, hey, how you doing, sort of thing. So we're watching Cody Sherritt here fighting off Alexander while trying to catch onto the back of a hard-charging Jordan Watson in the 147 BMW. He's up to P12 right now, chasing down Valentin Barrier, but he's not going to have a easy job of it. 2.5 seconds behind Valentin Barrier in the Aston Martin just now. Pit window is open for 20 minutes. Is up the inside goes Alexander. That is a bold move with some Ferrari on Ferrari action, and to be fair, I think Cody Sherritt was not really wanting any of that whatsoever as they go down into Misano corner to start lap number 9.
Yeah, I think that's more of Cody Sherritt kind of looking more towards the end of the race than now. If he can't really defend that move fairly easily, it's rather better to just let it happen, and then you will follow on and force a move later on. That's more of racing IQ, as we like to call it, ladies and gentlemen. But as we see, still very tight between the front 5. Again, Marco Bischoff is putting, I don't know if it's sustained pressure, but he is driving so well within himself, because he's not forcing things, but at the same time he's not putting himself in jeopardy by going too wide or trying to force something that forces him to go wide and lose his racing line. As we see, contact was Oskachi again. Contact towards the end. Very, very interesting. And I did speak about this, that what happens in the circuit, ladies and gentlemen, more often than not, the rear tends to get a bit light as you brake and put more pressure on the front. So I'm surprised that that's the only incident we're seeing heading into some of these heavy braking zones, where someone kind of misjudges it and the car just doesn't want to comply with stopping, and they inevitably have to make the contact.
And almost having to use the car as a barrier to get themselves slowed down. That's what we see time and time again, as we see Valentin Barrier. I promise you, absolutely no pun intended there whatsoever, but I will take the credit, if any is due, for that comedic effort. However, what the hell is going on here? The BMW getting murdered. There's Jordan Watson. That's what's happening here. It's all very, very, very aggressive and scrappy there. Jack Alexander involved there. This is quite tasty, I'll be honest with you. I think we should kind of watch this one for a little bit, because this is going to keep going on. This is the opposite of what we saw with Luke Whitehead, Marco Bischoff and Noah Ader up there in front. This is just an absolute battle as Sasha Vassner gets up the inside of Abe Santima, I want to think that is, so that's P14 has been gained by Sasha right now. Now onto the back end there of Shada in that 65 Honda, and again, I said this in round one, I am delighted to see the Honda back being competitive here in Assetto Corsa Competizione. It's a fantastic car, fantastic mark, and even if there's only one or two, I'm just delighted to see that back up in the sharp ends. I think we need to see more of that as Cody Shera into the pits and out of the pits. That is one of the leading cars right now that's been into pit lane. That's going to fall behind Roland Stein. And again, we spoke about Roland last week to Pello. Brand new to having a wheel, had it for what is about 2 weeks, I believe it is now, and a fantastic improvement to keep things pushing on right now.
Yeah, for sure. I think Roland is doing something that we all want to see, and that is just positive improvement week on week. Like, we've said it already, as we see more cars coming into the pits, his improvement on the wheel has been so impressive to watch, because he's not making the characteristic mistakes you'd expect from someone. He is keeping to himself, but in doing so, he's actually found decent pace, and he is looking competitive. Yes, he's still lowered down the grid, but that is a massive improvement for someone who is kind of new to the world of driving with a wheel and pedal set. So that is a tremendous effort from him, and that is what we love to see in the Genisus Esports Kaizen Championship. All about that continuous improvement, small steps that lead up to a greater sum, ladies and gentlemen. That is what the philosophy is about. That is what this championship is about.
Certainly is, as we're on board with Marco Bischoff chasing down your race leader, but not really in a position to force the matter somewhat. Now, what might change things is the fact that we are already coming up to some lap traffic possibly. So what the leaders might consider is they might want to jump into pit lane to avoid that lap traffic, avoid slowing themselves down, and get themselves in for that mandatory pit stop before they become an issue. But also, Bischoff is going to have to watch out for Noah Ader just behind him as well, and consider what he's going to be doing. The same with Tommy Rozier and George Boothby. So wait a minute, George Boothby now is onto the back of this group here. Now, I totally missed that, because Boothby was fighting with... so Boothby got past, so he's in 5th position but not able to get past Tommy Rozier at the moment, and just as I say that, sweeps round the outside, and Tommy Rozier doesn't have a wing or a prayer to answer for right now. Beautiful move by George Boothby, showing exactly why he took the win in such comfortable fashion in race 1, and I do get the feeling that he has been getting a ton of positions and a ton of time in the tank in that car, waiting for that pit stop to happen.
Yeah, most definitely. That is a brilliant move. So, again, that is the impressive part of the way someone like George Boothby drives. We've seen him kind of sitting back and letting things play out, and we were kind of worried about his pace as we see Ronaldo Boersma, ladies and gentlemen. Again, challenges galore on the circuit. We're seeing drivers kind of challenging each other everywhere. But just to go back to what George Boothby did really well there, he kind of waited for the moment to open up for him. He didn't force the move, but ultimately when the spot opened up and he had the pace, he made the move. As we see here, Ronaldo Boersma going for the move again, down the inside, kind of pushing him wide. I think that should be right. But there you see the cutback, going for the old switcheroo, David Croft would say, ladies and gentlemen. But that is interesting racing. They've kept him clean. There hasn't been, as David would say, GBH tonight, ladies and gentlemen, between Ronaldo Boersma as we go back to the front again. Bischoff still putting pressure on Luke Whitehead, but Luke Whitehead doing really well to sustain this and defend his position. David, do you think he will keep this going for long?
Well, I'll come back to that in just a second. Instant from race control between 10 and the 23 on lap 9. 10 seconds to the 23 for causing a collision. So that is a 10-second penalty for the number 23 car. That is Sign away down at the back of the field. I don't think they'll be able to keep that level of attack up with each other, because something's got to give. You saw with the fact that there was a lot of contact It was just really unsustainable, and surely they were going to hold each other up, but they've already caught onto the back there of the number 52. That's Lovrink that they are already there with, and I think that is Lovrink actually just moving to the side there. So here we've got another race control message. Incident between cars 1 and 147. That is Alexander, and the 147 is Jordan Watson. 5-second time penalty for causing a collision on lap number 14. So just a couple of laps to go there. Again, I mean, like, we're now seeing this coming in thick and fast as Noah Eder goes into pit lane from P3. As we've got a car into the barrier at the background there as well. I think that might have been the 46.
It's definitely one way to stop.
Yeah, that was wild. That was that the 39 behind him that was into the wall there.
Yeah, I think it was. I think he kind of misjudged his braking and turning point into the pits. That's not the best way to do it, but that's definitely one way to do it, ladies and gentlemen. But again, you know, David, I think I said this before we went live. I don't have much experience with the circuit. I think I've watched a few races in MotoGP, but I have to say it is giving up somewhat of a very interesting challenge for drivers. It's about finding your line, which is looking very tricky sometimes, as you see some drivers going a bit wide, coming back. So I think this is actually a fairly good circuit for GT3 racing.
I think it's a brilliant circuit for GT3 racing because it's wide enough. It's relatively straightforward for the cars to be able to tackle. Right, let's have a look here as to what has happened. I know this is the car we saw going into pit lane. That was damaged, so it gets a hit from behind. Oh my God, that is absolutely unacceptable. Who was that? That was let's see. That was the 29 that smashed into it there. That was Tommy Rozier. That is absolutely unacceptable. Never in a month of Sundays can you do that. Even if you're coming into the pit lane and you're faster than the car in front, you just can't do that. As Lehtinen fires up the inside there of Shiba Mishigo, I believe that is. No, that's not actually. Sorry, he's 13 seconds off the road. That is one of the BMWs that's been into pit lane. That goes into pit lane. So that was Krzysztof Muskowski. So obviously the timing boards need to get themselves updated. It's also difficult with not having the numbers on the sides of the cars to ID them, or at least some of them, as we go back to the track then. So pit lane is seeing some cars coming into it just now. Pretty much a lot of the top 5 into there just now. But I mean, Tapello, that let's go back to that incident there. I'm honestly absolutely stunned at what I just saw there with that Merc.
Yeah, look, for sure. And it has a sense of hilarity to it, because we were laughing saying, oh, that's how you misjudge kind of going into the pit lane. But that is not the driving standards we've been accustomed to seeing in this series. And that is definitely something that these stewards will take very, very decisive action on. Because look, I understand a mistake, and there's also responsibility in making a mistake, but that is ruining someone's race completely. And that is not something we'd love to see. Mistake or not, that is not right. That is not great. That is a huge incident, and that is definitely something that will require some attention.
Race leader in pit lane then, Luke Whitehead goes in from the lead of the race, the inherited lead of the race there in that 55 car after he took it right at the start. So Luke will be very happy with the first half of this race. 30 minutes gone, 30 minutes still to go here, and that now means that it is Sakira Lehtinen that jumps up into the provisional lead of the race with only 2 cars now still to pit at this point in time. You've got Clifford and Lehtinen there. Well, there you go, Lehtinen and Clifford just decide to pit. So everybody now has pitted, and this now means that Luke Whitehead is going to have to come out, because here is Marco Bischoff, who is ahead just of Noah Eder, and they're coming now towards the final corner. Now Luke Whitehead is already away. I think he might be quite good here. Yeah, he's done it, because they're just coming into the final corner now. So what we've got to remember though here at Misano is that pit lane, sweeps round the right-hander here. So there is still a little bit to go here. This could be a lot closer. Wow, he's done it. Luke Whitehead has been beaten by Bischoff and by Noah Eder. That's incredible.
When last did you see such a massive undercut? That is crazy to see, the tremendous pace they had to actually cover him off. This changes the complexion of the game because Luke Whitehead looked so comfortable leading this pack. Now he's actually found himself behind the pack. What an interesting change of events because of a pit stop. Just showing, ladies and gentlemen, that a pit stop is not just a formality. It can work as a position decider on track. Amazing to see. Amazing to see. As we see another notification from race control, the incident between cars 29 and 44 on lap 18, a 15-second time penalty for car 29 for causing a collision. Again, the stewards are working tooth and nail, throwing every much of their effort into stewarding this race properly, and we thank them for their service because they have done a stellar job keeping track of all the incidents that we saw last week and we are seeing this week as well.
I have a feeling that is our boy Tommy Rozier in the 29 that's got that penalty. We'll double check and confirm that with you, but I have a feeling that that is his number, and that is who has got the penalty. Back on board though with Luke Whitehead, your former race leader, who was so comfortable in the lead of the race and has now been completely usurped by that pit stop. Now, do you remember half an hour ago here, Tapello, when I was saying, oh, I don't think strategy is going to be too much of an issue tonight. I think they're just going to be going flat out for it. Well, the race has been completely turned on its head by, let's see, strategy. Who would have saw that one coming? However, Marco Bischoff in the lead, Noah Eder in second place. I wonder how this is going to change things now. Obviously, it changes things with the fact that Luke is away back down to fourth, but he's got Boothby in front of him. And clearing Boothby is like trying to smash through a brick wall with your bare hands. It's a difficult job. It's not impossible, but it's a hell of a lot of work.
Definitely. Look, once again, curse of the commentator, David, so thank you. But yes, getting past George Boothby is insanely difficult. We've seen how good he is at getting past other people. So getting past him is going to be insanely difficult. But I'll tell you something. I'm still trying to recall the last time I saw a three-car undercut in terms of strategy. That is just about as perfect as you want your strategy to be. If I'm one of these guys who pulled off that undercut, I am playing the lottery tonight. I'm trying to win some money. I am DMing my crush to tell her, listen, I love you, because that strategy call is just about as perfect as you can expect. So they might be the luckiest people. So I'm telling them tonight, exercise all your luck, DM your crush. If you want to raise, send your boss an email tomorrow morning, because that is perfection.
Right, hang on. So wait, so I'm just trying to figure this one out, because like if I do that, right, if I DM my crush tonight, I'm afraid I'm going to get a knife in my back, because my missus is not going to be too happy with that. But I get what you're saying. I get that the luck is obviously in for them. I'm just trying to remember the last time I actually had a crush. That was many years ago. Tapello. Time is certainly gone, and. Yeah, I'm not sure they'd appreciate a DM from me at this time of night. But either way, the luck is in. And certainly, if they win the lottery after tonight, we'll happily share in the winnings, as you can share in winning tonight as well. Out there, ladies and gentlemen, simply head into the YouTube chat, type CDA, and you could be winning yourself a 10% discount voucher on the fantastic new 3-month subscription of Coach Dave Delta, their brand new subscription service over at CoachDaveAcademy.com. Type CDA in chat to get yourself involved. 23 minutes left to go in this second round here at Misano. We're watching George Boothby at the moment hunting down Noah Eder, but if I'm honest with you, at the moment there is nothing to suggest that that Bischoff is going to be unseated from the top here. As we see Ruan Dutoit, we saw that was a very stricken looking Bayer in the middle there, as that is an awkward move up the inside there. Ruan de Toy, and he is under real pressure right now. I believe that is our race leaders that have just gone past him.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, we're just seeing the race leaders getting past the back markers. So, again, something we've spoken about a lot last season, especially towards the end of the season, as the really quick guys get quicker over the season, it becomes important for you to learn how to get out of the way of faster cars, not only to allow the faster cars to get by, but to also do it in a way that doesn't compromise your race. Because, ladies and gentlemen, what tends to happen if you're getting lapped, if you do not move, dare I say, in the correct way, you lose time to the guys you're racing as well, and you can even risk a penalty by not moving out correctly. So there is a skill and race IQ in how to move out of the way of faster cars, and as the faster car, how to move past a slower car. As we see here, Sasha Vassner putting a lot of pressure on Cody Sherritt. Again, we spoke about this. Cody Sherritt is having tremendous pace in this race, being consistently in the top 10, but now he's under pressure, so that shifts his train of thought from not only maintaining pace, but now having to defend. And as we've seen, the more you defend, the more you lose touch with the cars in front. As we see, there's already a 4.1 second to the cars in front, so he really doesn't have the kind of buffer or visual reference of a car in front to kind of help him keep pace. So right now it is going to be about all-out defense against Sasha Vassner, David, and we know how difficult defending can be.
Oh, we certainly do. We've seen it time and time again here, and I think that's exactly what we're going to see all throughout these final 20 minutes. That is Jack Alexander, though, in the fight of his life right now. You've got Christian Fencer, Valentin Barrier just in front of him as well. You've got Nick Hatchey just behind him. So this is a proper fight going on as they go down into that left-hander here. That's a move up the inside there. You've got Fencer under pressure from Barrier, and there's contact. Jack Alexander into the side there of Christian Fencer. So it's all gone really askew very quickly indeed, as Valentin Barrier there moves up then into that 15th position. So it all goes a little bit sideways for everyone involved there, as there is Sasha Vassner finally getting up the inside of Cody Sherritt, but Sherritt surely isn't going to let that one lie. He tried not to, but there is not much that you can do when you've got a Merc running down your side there, as Grantis Caracas goes into the final corner with Luke Harrison. You've got Tariq Adam in there as well. This is a proper fisty fight there. So Caracas takes the position there from Tariq Adam for P6, and Tariq Adam had done a brilliant job there. Now he's fighting with his teammate Luke Harrison here. You've got Samir Forge just behind him as well. So again, now suddenly it's like a bell's rung here to Pello. 20 minutes left to go, and it's just a Royal Rumble at the moment.
Yes, perfect analogy. It's just become a Royal Rumble as we see the poachers coming in and getting the perfect position. That is a disastrous sequence of events for Tariq Adam, and that tends to happen. You lose one position, you lose two, you can easily lose three. As we see Tim Bayer definitely struggling with that car. There's a lot of damage on that car. I don't see him continuing. If he does continue, I don't see him continuing any comfortably. I think he might retire this car very soon, because I don't think there's much to be learned and to be gathered from driving a car in that kind of condition. But ladies and gentlemen, as we move to the front, where there is another battle going on, it's Noah Ada within 4/10 of the lead, and these guys at the front, the bit of a gap to Luke Whitehead in 4, but the front 3 are sticking very close to each other, bumper to bumper, ladies and gentlemen. And it is these kind of moments, as we head out into the last 18 minutes of this race, you will now start to see drivers try and force moves and put pressure on the guy in front. It's now all about position, it's now all about points. Now you really need to push and assert yourself and assert your position on this circuit.
Well, we say the battle for the top. I feel like that's a little bit of false advertising just now, because for the most part these three are kind of just doing what they were doing every single lap before the pit stop. I've got no doubt that there will be a battle with those top three, but I wonder if they're maybe just hedging their bets until the final 5-10 minutes of the race here to get themselves away from the likes of 4th place and 5th place, the likes of Luke Whitehead and Adam Spansky. But what a fall from grace. Luke Whitehead, who was so comfortably in the lead of this race now, 1.2 seconds off of George Boothby right now, and really not looking like he's got any way of coming back up to the front there, as Tommy Rozier is confirmation then, that 15-second time penalty that we saw flashing up on screen about 10 minutes ago there. Noel Hache under pressure here from Alexander, squeezing as much as he possibly can there, but Alexander switches it back there late on the brakes. That was absolutely textbook there from Alexander in that number 1 Ferrari. Beautiful manoeuvre there, and Noel Hache has to relieve that position there. He will try and get it through that right-hander here as they come all the way up towards that beautiful, almost like a hairpin at the Curva del Caro, but again, hasn't got an answer. That was supreme confidence there from Alexander to just outbrake him straight on the inside. Job done here as we go back to your leading 3 cars.
Yeah, definitely, that was brilliant driving. That was a brilliant move. Those are kind of my favorite moves, where you see a driver kind of switch it up, try and go for a different line, outbreak their opponent, and have it so much in control. Sometimes you do get a move, but you're not really in control, and you're kind of following the lead of the car. But in that situation, we saw the car following the lead of the driver. But on board here, again, the front 3 looking very, very tight with each other. And I think you're right, David. They're just kind of holding position and holding pace, ensuring that they can give themselves some breathing room to the guys in the rear, that eventually, if they do decide to fight, they can do it without sort of compromising their positions on the podium. But a very, very tricky moment, a tricky period of the race for Luke Whitehead, who is a second behind the front 3. And I don't know whether that's just him struggling for pace, but I think it's more of a mental thing. The confidence knock that he must have taken from that massive undercut from the 3 cars in front of him after looking so confident can be very disastrous to the psyche of a racer, especially in a race as tight as this one.
Yeah, and on that note, it's always as much about the on-track action as it is about the off-track action, about the psychological battles that go on with these different drivers. It's one of the wonderful things that we see developing through the season, certainly through season 1 of the Genisus Risk Kaizen Championship. These mental battles that go on with the different drivers, and you find a point in the season at which the driver breaks, and then they end up crumbling towards the end of the season. Ronaldo Boersma getting overtaken there by a recovering Tommy Rozier. So Rozier moving up into P23 for just now in the final 15 minutes of the race. Jack Alexander trying to take a position here now from Valentin Barrier, just a couple of laps after that stunning move on Hache, getting up into P15. He's not satisfied with that. He's going to try and get up into P14 as well, and realistically with 14 minutes left to go, I think there's very limited options after overtaking this car for 14th position. But as we said, as we come down into the final quarter of an hour here, this is just going to be a scintillating end to the race. Can Luke Whitehead get onto the back of George Boothby? Is George Boothby going to make a move on Noah Eder? Is Noah Eder then going to make a move to the leader as well? All questions that we're going to have to get answered very, very shortly indeed. But here comes Jack Alexander as we cut to Marco Schade in the one of the 2 Hondas that we've got out there on the grid, the only Honda we've got in the top 20 now. Now we had Sakiri Lehtinen up there in, I believe it was P15 before that penalty was given out. Now there is Sakiri Lehtinen there in the second of the Hondas, just behind Lovrink in that 52 Ferrari. Again, round 2 has been sensational. It's given us real drama, real action, a lot of scratching head moments here to Pello, but I think all of the drivers so far will be fairly satisfied with what they've achieved tonight.
Yeah, look, I think just judging by how we've started the season, I think we're looking at a season where it's going to be so important to be consistent, which is normal in a season. But I think we're looking at a season where even a bad performance from a driver has to be a good performance. That's a very difficult statement to understand. But what I'm saying is, even if you're off form, you still need to put in a great result in the race. Look, we spoke about this. George Boothby, we're kind of shocked at his qualifying position, and we didn't think, he looks off form, he's not looking that confident, but here he is in a podium position as we see an overtake between Alexander and Valentin Barrier. Again, challenges from these drivers galore. And we've got Cody Sharrett, ladies and gentlemen, who spun around, and this is where we see the safe return onto circuit, letting the other cars past and rejoining in a safe manner. That is very, very disheartening for Cody Sharrett, who looked to be in a very, very good position as we head back to the front. And George Boothby, ladies and gentlemen, now putting enormous pressure on Noah Ada. This is the kind of driving that we're expecting from Boothby, and as I was saying, even when he looks off form, he needs to finish in a grand position. He's still in a podium position, but he is definitely smelling and looking for P2, ladies and gentlemen, which would just enable him to solidify his position atop the leader standings. So this is pressure, and heading into the last 10 minutes, David, I think we might be seeing more of this kind of pressure from these drivers.
Interestingly as well, I didn't really notice the split between the marks in that top 10 just now. 3 McLarens at the top there. Adam Spansky not able to get into that podium position. And then you've got pretty much the remainders of the Ferraris at the bottom of that top 10. Let's have a look at a replay then. I've got a feeling this might be of what happened to Cody Sharrett. So let's have a look. Does he get tagged from behind? I've got a feeling that he might. It's going to be the Honda, and it's Marco Schade into the back of him. And, I mean, that is the... It's a shame, but it's the lightest of touches, and it's a drive-through. That, I don't think that's a penalty by the stewards. I think that is, because I think it's too quick to be a penalty by the stewards. That's a penalty, I would imagine, given by the game. So, and that's going to be on top of the penalty that he gets. Oh my God, that is brutal, Tapello, for Marco Schade. Well, we'll get a confirmation. Yep, so 38 and 65. It's 10-second time penalty, and that's going to be on top of the drive-through penalty, I believe.
Yeah, look, this is a tremendous punishment. I don't think I've seen someone get a drive-through penalty and a 10-second time penalty. Just judging by that alone, Marco Schade should leave the country, leave the game, switch off everything, stop playing, because that is about as crazy a punishment as you could ever receive from a game and from the stewards. Switch off the system, my friend. Go to sleep. Your Wednesday is done. It is done.
Just that's it. Just like abandon country. Just like take up farming somewhere in like New Zealand or something like that. As Rwanda Tate gets into mischief in that 22 car. So Detroit, as we see more drive-through penalties. Ozakir getting a drive-through penalty, and Syme getting a drive-through penalty as well. Wow, okay, so under 10 minutes left to go then, and look at George Boothby now. He's got a real run going down into turn 1 here, but again he's not got enough in the tank. That Ferrari, I don't think, has the legs to get past the McLaren in a straight line, so he's going to have to force Noah Ader into making a mistake through these final 10 minutes of the race here, as you almost get a lick of the paint onto that Ferrari's bonnet there from the rear ends of the McLaren. That is wild camera angle here on the back end. A huge thank you to Daniel Costello behind the scenes for giving us these wonderful pictures here. And you can see in a straight line here, Tapello, that Merc has got the legs over the Ferrari, so it's going to have to be a mistake here. But also Noah Ader is now going to have to think, well, do I want to try and push for the lead here, because I'm half a second back here, but if I concentrate on that instead, maybe I can do something here.
Yeah, look, it's a very tricky position to be in for Noah Ader, because you kind of need to hedge your bets between attacking and defending. But, as we're looking at that angle, David, just by the incidents that we've had in this race, I actually found myself tensing up because I was like, please don't touch his rear, please don't touch his rear. That's the trauma that this race is giving us, as we've seen a lot of drive-through penalties, we've seen a bit of contact, and that's so scary when you see drivers kind of putting each other under pressure. As we can see now, George Boothby kind of just hanging back for a bit, maybe trying to cool off before he goes for another attack. Ladies and gentlemen, that's something you need to do sometimes. If you're not finding position, you can hang back and maybe just try and evaluate for a lap or two where the strengths and weaknesses are from the driver in front of you, and then you can kind of figure out which sections of the track to exploit and try and force a move in.
Wow. Honestly, I've just been spellbound by this race. This is probably one of the best races that we've had in a little while here for the Genisus Risk Kaizen Championship. We're already only in round 2. We've got a long way to go, so this has got some big boots to fill if this is going to be one of our best races over the course of the 12-week calendar that we've got coming up. As always, hit that subscribe button onto the YouTube channel. Marco, shut it! That was... You saw what I was laughing at there. My God, that car almost went straight into the tyre barriers on the pit entry there, as Christian Fenter gets a 5-second penalty as well. The penalties are just coming in thick and fast here. We've got 6 minutes left to go. Noah Ader now still in between that rock and a hard place. He's going to have to concentrate. He's got the gap now down to 0.3 of a second, so he's gained a little bit here, but still, what do any of these drivers have to do to take that lead from Marco Bischoff? They've absolutely done Luke Whitehead. He is now post 2.5 seconds back. He is not going to be gaining that over the next 2-3 laps here as we come out of Curva Misano to start what could possibly be the third to last lap here. Unbelievable actions, and I honestly don't know how this is going to pan out. I think Marco Bischoff might have this.
Look, last week I called the move at the last corner on the last lap. I called the move. So today I am shutting up. I don't want to curse anything. I'm just a spectator like everyone else. Because, ladies and gentlemen, what we're seeing here is tremendous driving from these drivers. We're seeing a combination of confidence, awareness, race IQ, kind of synergy between driver and car. And that's what we want in this championship. 5 minutes to go. We've got 3 cars where the win of the race could be either one of those 3 cars. They're within a second of each other. All it takes is a missed braking point, running wide, or a very small mistake. And someone like Marco Bischoff in position 1 could end up easily in position 3. So this podium, as set as they are, that these 3 should fairly finish on the podium, but they can chop and change the positions of this podium very easily in this final 4.5 minutes.
They absolutely can, and they possibly will. For me, what's really getting me is how steady these 3 drivers are. That, you know, we've seen through the rest of the field them making mad moves and throwing shapes and everything like that, but these 3 have just been quite cool, calm and consistent every single lap here. You know, even down to Luke Whitehead, they've been very consistent as well. But here is Alexander. Now, do you remember as well that I said that I think he was going to have limited options as to where Alexander was going to go if he was able to get past Valentin Barry? Well, he's got onto the back end here of Abe Santema, and this could be a move for positioning. Could we see actually Santema or giving Alexander this position? We've got 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Surely not. Surely we can't see Alexander getting into 10th position. But it's there in front of him. It's there just with Sasha Vastner. I mean, it's a tall order, but we've seen stranger things happen here. But 3.5 minutes have gone in this race, so I think that we are going to be on the second to last lap next time rounds, as Jack Alexander makes it look so bloody easy. That's unreal. On the exit of the corner, and Alexander just passes him like it's absolutely nothing.
Yeah, he passed him as if Abe Santema forgot how to exit the corner there. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know what to do now. This car is doing its own thing. But that is the composure that you want as a driver. Look, we tend to see a lot of overtakes into the entrance of a corner, but that was a beautiful move on the exit of a corner. I love that. I think that might be my contenders of the move of the day, just for how clean and measured it was. But ladies and gentlemen, you're seeing a lot of red. Your eyes are not deceiving you. The stewards have been busy tonight. We still have a lot of penalties and drive-through penalties as I hear in my ear, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 2 more laps of this race. Non-stop action in the Genisus Esports Kaizen Championship. David, where are you focusing in these final 2 minutes of this race?
I'm focusing on finding another tin of energy drink because there's so much action going on. My eyes are getting crossed over with everything going on. Right, it's cut incident between cars 666 and 22. It's a 5-second time penalty for the 666 for causing a collision. That is Christian Fenter in 15th position that gets that penalty. That is going to hand over 15th to Simone Seminara, and Cody Sherritt will also get a position out of that as well. But we have got your race leaders then making their way up towards that long sweeping right-hander here at Carvone, and then up to the Curva del Caro with just 3 corners left to go, as we've got yellow flags out on circuit. The 22 gets going again, but that is a big moment for that 22 car, and that is Detroit again bringing out that flag right into Misano curve for the penultimate time, and we are going to have a white flag as across the line then goes Marco Bischoff then here in round 2 of the Genisus Risk Kaizen Championship. Now, what is going to happen here? Does Noah Eder have anything in the tank? Does George Whitby have anything in the tank? Because God knows nobody else does. Luke Whitehead way down in 4th position. Adam Spansky in 5th. Grant Caracas in 6th. Luke Addison in 7th with Samir Foch in 8th position. Tariq Adam in 9th. And Sasha Master rounding out the top 10. 45 seconds to go. Let's go.
Yeah, most definitely. You know what, David? I don't know if the racers would notice this, but I think we need to add on an extra 5 minutes to this race just to have it see how it plays out, because we have been enjoying some tremendous action as we're down to the penultimate lap, and it's still so close down at the front. I've loved this race. This has been one of the best races to commentate on. There's been action everywhere, there have been battles everywhere, and there's been some tremendous moves being done. These drivers are confident, and if this is how the season is going to pan out, boy, are we in for a good one.
I think could not have said it better myself, as we've just got a couple of corners left to go. I can't see there being any moves then as George Boothby lays it on thick, going deep into that double right-hander, as we have got just one more corner left to go. Marco Bischoff then into Misano corner, exits it, and for the second round of the Genisus Risk Kaizen Championship, Marco Bischoff takes the win. Noah Eder in 2nd place, George Boothby in 3rd. Luke Whitehead will come across the line 4 seconds later in 4th position. Adam Spansky finishes in 5th. Grantis Caracas in 6th position. Luke Harrison will finish in 7th. Samir Foch in 8th. Tariq Adam in 9th. And then it is Alexander finishing in 10th position. But my goodness me, what a fight, what a battle, and what a change of affair for that 4th place car. I mean, I was honestly expecting there to be a very different winner here. But Luke Whitehead not able to change that, or rather turn that early first half dominance into a race win here.
Yeah, for sure. And again, strategy playing a huge role in how this race ends, as we see a challenge right across the line there from Denis Vichok. Again, fantastic driving by these drivers and pushing until the very end. They say it ain't over until the fat lady sings. Well, the fat lady kind of forgot to sing there as they crossed the line, challenging each other for position. And now we've got the live giveaway. David, do you want to take it away? Because I know you are in love with this wheel.
I am in love with the wheel. We've got 2 giveaways. We've got one for the drivers and we've got one for our audience at home. We've got some late entries. Jeffrey Ritchie knows what it's all about. Type in CDA into chat. We will do the drivers giveaway and the viewers giveaway after we have done the interviews tonight. And to Pello, I mean, obviously 3 drivers here that are going to be very, very happy, I think, to speak with us. Who would you like to speak to tonight?
Oh, you know what? I actually want to chat to George Boothby because I have a very interesting question for him today.
Oh, okay. That sounds very, very intriguing. Well, your wish is my command because they are down there in the waiting room. So let's see if we can drag in George Boothby in to have a chat with us just now. And there he goes, Pello. Here he is.
Hello.
Well, Mr. Boothby, on the podium once again. I think this is becoming your favorite.
Unfortunately, to Pello, we have lost you just now. So, George, firstly, welcome in. This is how we do it in here. What on earth happened here tonight? Because obviously it was a dominant performance in race 1, and it did look like you were giving it your all tonight.
Yeah, I was sending it as much as I can. I just didn't have the greatest quality, unfortunately. I knew there was a bit more pace in it. I don't know if it would have been enough for P1, but I think I could have been at least like in the top 3, but you know, it is what it is. You got to work with what you do. So this is a really hard track to overtake, really, really hard. So, you know, if you make a move, if you make a send, you've got to be forceful about it. Can sometimes end with a bit of contact, but as long as it's just a slight rub, you usually can get away with it. And yeah, I just wanted to try and make up as many positions as I could. Managed to get a Mercedes at some point. I think it was like halfway through stint 1, and then I managed to get Luke in the pits because we all did an undercut. So, and then it was just, can I get a position from these Sprout boys? But they just drove so well. I think they were managing it a little bit, you know, because if you stay in the slipstream, it definitely helps with, you know, potential overtakes. So yeah, I think they managed it really well, and there was just nothing I could do. There was a few little hints, a few sniffs here and there, but it was never enough to really do anything with, unless I wanted a big fat penalty. So top 3 still good. That's great for a championship. You know, I ain't gonna complain about that. I'm pretty happy.
And obviously, on that note, then it looked like the McLaren really did have, a big lead over you in terms of the straight line performance. Was that just a trick of the camera, or was that actually a thing?
Yeah, basically the biggest downfall of the Ferrari is its acceleration. It's got pretty good top speed, especially if you can run lower wings on some tracks, but it takes a while to get there. So because this track, you're coming out of all those slow corners, having to build it up, you just get dropped. So don't get me wrong, it's a fast car here, but it's fast in other areas, and unfortunately they're the other areas where it makes it a bit harder to overtake, I guess. So but you make do. It's one of the challenges you take when every car's got their good things and their bad things. So you just got to work with it, and I did make it work a little bit. I made some positions, so happy with that. And maybe next week I can do a little bit better quality and potentially get an even higher result.
Well, either way, third place still a fantastic result for you, George. And as always, anybody you want to thank for tonight?
Yeah, obviously Overwatch, Twitch chat, and all the chats watching you guys' stream. Thanks for supporting as always. And I can't wait for the next round. Let's do this.
Excellent stuff. Well, congratulations, and we'll hopefully speak to you next week, George.
All right, lads. Take care. Thank you.
There we go then. George Boothby taking third place here tonight. Some more valuable points here in round 2. Let's bring in second place car then, Noah Adair. Noah, congratulations. Second place. It's Mr. Consistent for you. Second visit to the podium here this season. It's been a banger of a season so far.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't think that the season would go so well, but yeah, there it is.
Now, on that note then, tell us about the race, because obviously we had Luke, who was in the lead of the race for so long, and then, he came out the pits. You must have been delighted to notice that you'd been bumped up a little bit.
Yeah, we were a bit quicker than the AMG, And then I thought I would do the opposite of Luke. So Luke stayed out. I went into the pits, but it didn't change anything between George and Marco, my teammate. But we overtook Luke. So it was a double pole for Sprout. So for me and my teammate. And it's absolutely amazing to get a 1 and 2 here on Misano in this competitive field. I mean, they're really, really quick drivers, so it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's a hell of an achievement given the strength of the field that's out there. Is there anybody that you'd like to thank for tonight?
Yeah, of course, the organization, because the races, the servers, everything is really well. It is a lot of fun, and it is a good stuff to preparate for tomorrow's race. But yeah, thanks for everything who's watching. And yeah, see you next week.
Excellent stuff, Noah. Congratulations on second place. And as you said, we'll hopefully speak to you next week.
Yeah. Thanks.
Excellent stuff. So Noah Adair there in second place. And let's talk to our race winner. It was an amazing, amazing performance. But a very, very warm welcome to Marco Bischoff. Marco, that was a little bit out the blue after that first half of the race, given how strong Luke was at the front there. But I guess you'll take that.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, it was amazing. I think it was the quali was the key today to start from pole. It was in my opinion, for me, it was a perfect lap. It was the maximum for me, and yeah, I nailed it. And then I had a really bad start because of bad reaction time, and Luke was in P1. And then I think the key was the pit stop. It was a really good pit stop from my side. And then maybe Luke had a not so good pit stop. So yeah, I catched him, and also Noah did a great job today. It was a really good teamwork, and yeah, we were very consistent over the whole race. And yeah, it was amazing to drive this car on this track, and yeah, I'm really happy.
Talk us through that opening lap then, because obviously an immense lap to get pole position, brought that right out of the bag, and then you didn't even get one turn before Luke was all over you. How frustrating was that?
Yeah, especially on Misano, it's very frustrating because overtaking is very difficult, and yeah, the quali was to nail this lap is very difficult, and then it's a little bit bad concentration on the start, and then yeah, it's you think it's gone. So I knew that the pit stop need to be very, very good, and also the in lap, the out lap, and so on. And that was my only chance to overtake Luke, to be honest.
Well, either way, you knuckled down and really showed some proper determination to take that win. Some vital points for the championship as well there, Marco. Is there anybody else that you would like to say thank you to for tonight?
Sorry?
Is there anybody that you would like to say thank you to for tonight? Any friends, family, sponsors?
My team. I'm part of Sprout Esports since October. It's a great team, and today we saw our potential in the McLaren, and I think it's maybe just the beginning in the McLaren, but we will see. Greets to all of the organization behind this league. It's very nice to be here, and also to George on P3. He did a great job. He was pushing from behind, and it was not easy to be in front of him.
Excellent stuff. Well, Marco, congratulations on the race win, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. See you. Ciao, ciao.
There we go then. Marco Bischoff, ladies and gentlemen, your race winner from tonight. Apologies for losing Tapello Meriole halfway through there. Tapello, are you back with us? We'll send out a flare, a rocket signal, see if you're with us. Oh, you are here.
definitely
Yes. Hello.
I'm definitely back. Seems like Discord wasn't having me today, so it just cut me off as the interviews were about to start. But these things happen.
They certainly do. They certainly do. Right, let's go and have a look at our driver giveaways then. We have 2 giveaways to have a look at tonight. So let's start it off. So if we press the button and start the wheels spinning, we'll do that lovely. So here we go. 2 drivers are going to get a 1-month subscription to CDA Delta. And that is Christian Fenter that gets the first of our 2 prizes tonight. So he wins himself a 1-month subscription. So let's spin it again and see who else gets one. Super high tech this is. And it is it Luke Addison? Oh, it is Luke Addison, just by the skin of his teeth, I guess. That is a bit of a consolation prize after tonight. So Luke Addison getting what was that again? Sorry, a 1-month subscription to CDA Delta, Coach Dave Academy Delta. For that, right, let's have a look at our chat giveaway as well. We've got 2 chatters will win a 10% coupon discount off a 3-month Coach Dave Academy Delta subscription. So a coupon code, you'll get a 10% discount off of a 3-month subscription for anyone that has typed in CDA before the giveaway was locked down, which was about a minute and a half ago. And we've got about 10 to 15 people that are entered. So let's have a look. Let's press the button and find out our first winner tonight. Need a little drum roll here. That is going to be Jeffrey Ritchie, is it? Oh, only just. Congratulations, Jeffrey. You've won yourself a discount code. Let's spin it again and get our second one. And it's congratulations to Bafokeng Mofokeng. Congratulations to you. You've got yourself a 10% coupon discount code for Coach Dave Academy Delta subscription. Well done to you both. Right, that's all the giveaways done. Tapello, some final thoughts on what we've seen here tonight.
Final thoughts. A brilliant race. I really hope the season will serve up races like this. We're seeing these drivers pushing each other to the absolute limits. They're taking no prisoners, as we saw in this race. But the Kaizen Championship is living up to its name again, and we're seeing fantastic racing. And again, still loving it, still enjoying being by your side, David. I hope we have a lot more races to come together in the future.
I think that is definitely going to be the order of the day. Let's have a quick look at the calendar, because next week we are off to Nürburgring, ladies and gentlemen. We are off to Germany in the round 3 Paul Ricard, where I will find some sort of medical reason not to be here. You all know I hate Paul Ricard. Watkins Glen is round 5 in February, and then Kyalami rounds out our first half of the second season of this Genisus Risk Kaizen Championship calendar. What a season it is. A huge thank you as always to our commercial partners and to our production team behind the scene. A huge thank you to Tapello Merioli joining myself, David Christie, here in the commentary box for the second round here at Misano. Huge thank you as always to you at home for watching and enjoying. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and join us next week for more awesome racing action. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful week, stay safe, and take care. we go racing. Luke Whitehead lights it up. Tariq Adam is going to take the green flag and send them all down to Hill Corner. But here we go, this is the action. We will side by side, a little bit of a nudge, a little bit of a clip of his teammate there. This is through the dipper, and that, I think, is one of the Genesis cars going straight into the wall.